What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Nonboy back with another video, and in today's video I have some battle submissions that I will be shellcasting from my friend Baruch Salgado, who is also a content creator, so all his links will be in the description below. And he also makes GBL content and other Pokemon related content, but he submitted to me this team consisting of Lantern, Shadow Charizard, and Shadow Machamp. And the interesting thing about this team is, you guys know the Lantern, Metacham, and Noctowl team has been pretty popular, and this is kind of like a more spicy variation, with the Charizard being in place of the Noctowl as a flyer, and then the Machamp in place of the Metacham as the fighting type. So really excited to get into these battles, and Baruch also has a video of his own that features more battles than there are here, so link to that video of course will be in the description if you want to check out some more battles with this team. So without further ado, let's get into these matches here. First match, we have a Registeel lead, and this is actually pretty decent for the Lantern. The Thunderbolt's doing a pretty sizable chunk, and you can also survive pretty comfortably one of the Zap Cannons or Focus Blast, so they're going to have to get to 2 moves to take you out. And Registeels, a lot of times they will shield that first move just because they're fishing for the debuff from the Zap Cannon, and that would be doing the most damage. But I'm going to switch here into the Machamp here, drawing out a flyer in the back. So I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide here. This is one of the good things about the Machamp, is it actually hits very hard with the Rock Slide against opposing flying types, but still getting chunked up quite a bit by these wing attacks. Gonna go ahead and let the Sky Attack go, and I like that play there. So gonna come in with the Lantern. Noctowl versus Lantern, like, you kind of do hard wall the Noctowl, but as you can see here, the Shadow Balls do add up quite a bit, so can't over farm too much if you don't want to lose too much health on your Lantern here. So gonna take it out, and a shield up, the Charizard might be able to sweep in the back, but actually opponent gonna have a Pelipper in the back, so this is still gonna be pretty rough here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Blast Burn. It is resisted, but it does more damage than even a neutral Dragon Claw, since it's such a strong move. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go, and seeming like they want to farm all the way down, and should have a couple moves ready for this Registeel here. So 2 Thunderbolts from this range will just about take out the Registeel, maybe a Thunderbolt and a Surf, plus the extra Sparks, assuming there is no debuff. But Registeel throwing the Zap Cannon here, and Registeel actually can't stack too much extra energy on top of the Zap Cannon. They can do maybe like 1 and like 1/5 Zap Cannons at once before they're capped out on energy. So good recognition there, going for the Thunderbolt to be safe and to take out the Registeel there. So next match, we have the Lantern into Umbreon. So this is a fairly neutral matchup. The Umbreon does win in the 0 and 1 shields, but the Lantern can beat the Umbreon in the 2 shields as long as the Umbreon shields up to Surfs. But I'd still say, like, of course it's in favor of the Umbreon, so I'm gonna stay in here for the time being and just play out this matchup. So I'm gonna go for a Thunderbolt here, and opponent letting that go. I mean, usually Umbreon's like let every move go through, but very interesting here that the opponent is going for the Psychics instead of the Foul Plays or Dark Pulse if they decided to run that. But now they're gonna go for the Foul Play, and probably going to come in here with the, I was expecting Machamp, but he's going to go ahead and try to get a pretty aggressive farm down, or I guess not get an aggressive farm down with the Charizard here. Going to throw the Dragon Claw. So still having a little bit of residual energy, but going to be met with a Lantern here. So this is going to be a very tough situation to get out of. So I'm going to throw the Blast Burn and then swap into the Machamp, but that ended up being a CMP tie. So gonna have to shield this move here if they want to preserve the Charizard, and then they're gonna come in with the Talonflame. So this is gonna be pretty rough. I don't think there is a win con here at this point. Gonna go for the bait in an attempt to kind of salvage this matchup here, but I think the Talonflame is just gonna be able to take them out before they're able to get both the shields and hit a Rock Slide. So gonna go for another bait here. Most likely going to draw the shield, like there's no point for the opponent to not shield here. That'd be pretty risky and a pretty big lose con for them, but able to farm down the Machamp before they're able to get to the Rock Slide and then hitting the Charizard with the Brave Bird there. So rough match overall. Next match here we have Lantern into Wigglytuff, and Lantern actually does pretty good against the Charmers. You know, you get to the moves pretty quick, and the Thunderbolt does hit for quite a bit of damage. And the Charms here doing a decent chunk of damage, but not too much. Like, the Lantern is fairly bulky. So I'm gonna go for the Surf here to take out the Wigglytuff if they decide not to shield. And honestly, if they do shield, I'd probably consider letting the Lantern go, just so that you can get a pretty big farm down on the Charizard, and you are up a shield. So exactly what he's gonna do here. So getting a nice farm down on the Charizard there, but a little bit unfortunate that it ends up being a Bastiodon. So alignment kind of ending up being important here, but still not you know, a lost game yet, just because if you are able to take out this Sableye, the Machamp has a very dominant matchup against the Bastiodon. So opponent letting the Rock Slide go, and going to be able to take out the Sableye, and at this point the game is pretty much over. Throwing on good timing, throwing 4 counters before throwing the Cross Chop so that the Bastiodon does not sneak in an extra fast move, but it doesn't really matter at this point. You know, they're so far ahead that it doesn't matter all that much, and Bastiodons cannot stack back-to-back moves, so gonna bring the Charizard in to hit them with the Blast Burn and flex on them a little bit there. So very well played by Baruch there. So next match, we got Lantern into Mantine. So this is the Dream lead. So doing double super effective damage with the Sparks, but the opponent swaps into their own Lantern, and a little bit slow on the swap here. So most likely gonna actually lose switch advantage, just because 2 Surfs would take out a Machamp, and you get to the Surfs, or they get to the Surfs rather, after 5 Sparks. And I think you get to your Cross Chops after 5 counters as well. So they're gonna outpace just because they did have a bit of an energy start. And at this point, since they let the move through, the opponent can just farm them down with the fast moves. But actually, opponent not fighting for a switch there, which is a pretty big mistake when you consider that the Lantern versus Mantine matchup is so dominant for the Lantern. So bit of a lucky break there for sure, but you know, you got the alignment that you need, and sometimes that's all you can do. You know, like, you got to play the best you can, and a lot of times you do have to rely on your opponents to make misplays or just play a little bit suboptimally in order for you to win the game there. So yeah, gonna throw off this Blast Burn, and then this should be a pretty sealed game. Opponent recognizing that and conceding the match. So next match, we have the Lantern into Bastiodon. So this is actually pretty good for the Lantern, just because you do know the Surf. So opponent gonna switch out into the Medicham. Gonna swap into the Charizard here. Wing attacks will be doing super effective damage. So as you can see there, already chunked up the Medicham's health a little bit there. So gonna go for the Dragon Claw. And in this scenario, you actually don't really care too much about switch, just because both your Pokemon do have a pretty decent matchup against the Bastiodon, but having switch also would be very nice, just because the Machamp has a lot more of a dominant matchup. So in this scenario, I probably would shield this and farm down the Medicham just to get my Machamp on. So that's exactly what Baruch decides to do. And then Bastiodon coming back in here, only gonna get 1 Smackdown off before taking out the Charizard. So at this point, pretty good alignment here, depending on whatever's in the back. A Trevenant would be pretty troublesome at this point, but let's see what the opponent ends up having. They actually do have a Trevenant, so this is still not over yet, but I think should still be fine, just because these Rock Slides will be doing neutral damage, and they hit kind of hard. So I'm gonna swap into the Lantern now, and then get off some Thunderbolts. Probably gonna tank everything here and save the Blast Shield for the Machamp. So opponent gonna have to get to quite a few moves to take out both of the opposing Pokemon here. So still looking to be pretty comfortable. So farming up to another move here. They throw right as they get the serve. So Seed Bomb coming through, but at this point all he needs is a Cross Chop and that should probably be enough damage on top of the counters. So, and I do believe the Machamp wins CMP against the Trevenant. So yeah, gonna be able to take out the Trevenant here, and that was very well played game by Baruch there. So I think that was the last match, and it seems like it able to go 4-1 in the set. So very solid gameplay by Baruch, and very interesting team. Like you know, not every day that you see a double Shadow backline, and Charizard and Machamp aren't too typically seen in the Open Great League. Although I did hear that you know, there's been a team floating around that a content creator posted of like Metacham, Noctowl, and like Charizard or something like that. So I saw that a lot on Go Battle Day. But yeah, thank you again, Baruch, for the battle submissions, and it was a pleasure shoutcasting your battles. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also check out Baruch's YouTube channel in the description below, and also submit your own battles. I would be more than happy to shoutcast them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.